Hey everyone, this is just a quick video on how to use some of the materials for the poster project. So remember that each poster is going to be just half of your watercolor paper. So what I suggest you do is use your ruler and X-Acto knife, which yours looks different than mine, but same idea here. Use these to cut this in half. So you want to measure halfway, so this is 12-inch paper, so measure and put a little tiny line at the top and bottom of your paper at 6 inches. And then what I suggest you do is actually use the back side of your paper pad, that's this nice cardboard here, to cut on. So that'll make sure that you don't cut your table or whatever you're working on. So once you get that all measured up really nicely, you can just cut along the edge of your ruler like this. And then you will have two sides of your paper. Obviously I did not measure correctly, so that's not right, but okay, I have ones that I did measure over here. So you should have two pieces just like this. So a few different materials you can use for this. First is your micron pen. So these are really great for getting little tiny detailed areas. Remember to hold your pen closer to 90 degrees instead of holding it at a more severe angle like this, because you don't want to bend the nib of your pen. So these are really wonderful for getting really sharp, clean, crisp lines like this. They don't smear too much, so you don't need to be too worried about that. And you have pens of different sizes, so you can kind of vary the size that you need. The ink wash is kind of the most unpredictable medium that we have. Yours is in a little jar, mine's in this little baby food jar like this. It has ink all over it, so I always get ink on my hands. But essentially this works similar to watercolor paint if you've used that before. You can dilute it with a little bit of water if you would like. So I have my little soft bristle brush here and my jug of water. I'm going to pull some out and put it on my palette. This is my palette here. You guys have a little bit different looking palette. But you can add water to it to make it lighter in value. The more water you add, the lighter in value it'll be. And like I said, it's kind of very unpredictable, which can be really fun because you can have really kind of dramatic effects with it, but it can also be hard to control. So you want to save this for areas where you want to have more of an expressive approach. Something that's really fun is if you go in with just clear water first on your paper. Oops, and I just splashed ink on there. See what I said about it being predictable? It really is. So if you go in with really light valued ink or just plain water, you can kind of set in some bits of ink and it will make this kind of fun starburst effect. So that can be a really lovely way to add variety to your piece, for sure. You can also use your black and white gouache if you want to, and I don't have gouache with me right now, but I have acrylic paint, which is pretty similar. So I'll set some of that on my palette here. And this is really great if you have really large areas that you want to block in with value. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. You can add a little bit of water to your gouache paint as well, using my larger brush here. Not too much water, but just a little bit. So this is easier to control than the ink for sure, and you can just kind of set in some really kind of flat areas of value on here. So if you have large areas of value that you want to cover especially, this is going to be a lot more productive than going in and filling all that with your tiny little pen. And it's going to be easier to control than filling in the area of value with the more unpredictable ink wash. So that's the idea there. Hopefully this was helpful, but please let me know if you have any questions on this. I'm happy to do more demos if you like.